My wife drained our emergency fund to pay for her sister's dream wedding while I needed urgent surgery. She said, "You can wait, it's her special day." I filed for divorce from the hospital bed and sued her sister for theft. The wedding was canceled and then, original post. I male, 34, been married for 7 years. Her name is Vanessa. She's 32, charismatic, charming, the kind of woman who could smile at a room and instantly become the center of attention. When we met, I was captivated by her warmth and energy, but over the years, subtle cracks appeared. Small things at first, late night calls, unexplained expenses, a restless energy whenever I questioned her about money. I've always believed in planning. I'm a cautious man, methodical. I built our emergency fund for a reason, the kind of fund you don't touch lightly. A life-threatening surgery, a car crash, unexpected bills, things that could happen when life decides to turn on you. I never expected my own marriage to put that fund in jeopardy. It started with whispers. Vanessa would casually mention her sister Claire and some grand plans, always hinting at extravagant weddings and luxurious fantasies. "She deserves the best," Vanessa would say. And I believed it at first. Families support each other, right? But the tone slowly shifted. The excitement in her eyes didn't seem like sisterly care. It was obsession, hunger, a devotion to something that wasn't ours. I remember the evening vividly. The hospital lights had flickered in my mind for weeks. I had tests scheduled for a minor but urgent surgery. My heart had been thumping with unease. This was a precaution, but the doctor was serious about not delaying it. Vanessa and I were in the kitchen. She was scrolling through a wedding planning app on her phone, her face lit by that blue glow. "Michael," she said, eyes sparkling, "Claire's wedding is in 3 months. She's been saving for years, but I think we should help her. Big time." I froze, my gut twisted. "Vanessa, how big?" I asked cautiously. "Oh, you know, dream wedding, the works, ballroom, flowers, everything perfect. I thought maybe we could use the emergency fund." I blinked. Slowly, my stomach dropped. "Wait, our emergency fund?" She shrugged, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. "You can wait. It's her special day. I'll make it up to you, I promise." I laughed nervously. The words caught in my throat. My mind raced. This wasn't just money. This was our safety net, the cushion that could save my life if anything went wrong in my surgery. And now she was offering it away, like it was spare change. I didn't know what to say. The rational part of me tried to negotiate, to reason, to find compromise. "Vanessa, this is our fund. You know what I might need it for. My surgery." "Michael, relax," she said, voice soft but firm. "Claire's wedding is more important right now. You'll understand later." Her eyes held no hesitation, no guilt, just determination. And that's when I realized this wasn't about helping her sister. This was about control, about her own priorities, about the thrill of orchestrating a fantasy at the expense of reality. I spent the next few days in a haze, oscillating between disbelief and anger. I checked the account. It was gone. Every cent we had saved for emergencies vanished. And Vanessa, she was radiant, buzzing with excitement, planning centerpieces, cakes, invitations. She spoke to me about colors and flowers, guest lists, and venues, while my own health loomed over me like a ticking clock. I tried to make sense of it. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I didn't understand the depth of family loyalty. But the more I watched, the more the truth became unavoidable. She didn't care about me. She didn't care about my life, my health, my survival. Late one night, I found a message on her phone. It wasn't hidden. It was an open conversation with Claire. "Emergency fund is secured. Michael won't question me. Everything's set. Wedding of her dreams. No one can stop me." I felt my stomach drop. My wife had not only taken our savings, she had planned it meticulously, calculated, and she was proud of it. The hospital appointment loomed. I was scared, yes, but I was angrier. I spent that night sitting in the living room, staring at our empty account, thinking about the betrayal, thinking about justice. I didn't yet know how, but I knew I couldn't let this slide. And that's when the plan began to form. A plan as precise as she had been reckless. Days passed. I started subtly documenting everything. Screenshots of messages, bank statements, emails. I wasn't going to confront her yet, not without ammunition. She was slippery, charming, dangerous in her own way. If I made a move too soon, she'd vanish the money, fabricate excuses, maybe even gaslight me into questioning my own reality. Vanessa kept busy with Claire's wedding. Invitations went out, deposits were made, vendors confirmed. I played along, smiled, asked questions, while silently preparing my counter. I texted my lawyer discreetly. I called the bank, asking about fraud protection and rights in cases of misappropriation. Every call, every document, every screenshot was a thread I would pull at the right moment. I remember one night, Vanessa came into the study, all excited, holding a tablet. "Michael, look at this venue. Isn't it gorgeous? They'll love it." I nodded, heart pounding. "It's lovely." She tilted her head, confused by my lack of enthusiasm. "You're acting strange. Are you upset about something?" I forced a smile. "No, just tired." The weight of my heart, of this betrayal, of the knife edge between life and death I now stood upon, was suffocating. And yet I felt clarity. I didn't panic. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I planned. And then came the day my surgery was scheduled. I woke up early, gathered my paperwork, my medical forms, and my growing dossier of her lies. I knew I would need every piece of evidence if I wanted not just revenge, but justice. Vanessa kissed me on the cheek, unaware of the storm brewing behind my calm eyes. "Everything's going to be perfect today, Michael. I just know it." I nodded. "Yes, perfect." I entered the hospital with a cold, controlled mind. The monitors beeped as I was prepped for surgery. Nurses bustled around, unaware of the internal battle raging inside me. My phone buzzed with texts from her, excited updates, pictures of flowers, guests, and dresses. I read them silently, storing them like fuel for the fire. And then it happened. Vanessa called, her voice sweet and insistent. "Michael, don't worry about anything. Everything is set for Claire. You focus on yourself. You'll be fine." I stayed silent for a beat, just listening. And then calmly I said, "Vanessa, I'm done with everything. Divorce papers are filed. And Claire? I'm suing her for theft. The money. Gone." There was a pause, then the scream. Sharp, piercing, disbelief. She couldn't believe it. Her carefully constructed world, unraveling in real time while I lay in a hospital bed, about to undergo surgery. And in that moment, I realized something. Control is an illusion, but foresight is power. The moment I hung up, I felt a strange calm. The storm had started, but I was prepared. Vanessa's screams echoed in my mind like a grotesque symphony of betrayal and disbelief. While I lay in that sterile hospital room, heart monitors beeping steadily, a mechanical rhythm beneath the chaos I'd unleashed. I could almost see her panicked face, the way her perfect world, crafted from lies and illusions, was crumbling. My lawyer called back within minutes, voice tight but professional. "Michael, we can freeze the accounts. We can get a temporary restraining order against her sister. But we need evidence, and we need to act fast." I already had it. Every message, every screenshot, every bank transfer logged meticulously. Months of surveillance disguised as casual curiosity had paid off. "Do it," I said calmly. "Freeze everything and file the complaint, full force." Meanwhile, Vanessa was spiraling. Her texts flew in like bullets. "Michael, this is insane. You can't do this. You're ruining everything. Claire will hate you. I'll call the police. This is theft." I ignored them. Every ping was a reminder that she had underestimated me, that she had mistaken my quiet patience for weakness. By the next day, law enforcement was involved. 2 detectives arrived at our home, polite but firm, asking for statements, evidence, documentation. Vanessa tried to act composed, but the tension in her posture betrayed her. I watched silently, controlled, offering statements that painted a precise picture of calculated betrayal. The stolen emergency fund, the premeditated plans, the messages proving intent. Claire, on the other hand, was blindsided. I didn't interact with her directly at first. I let the law do the talking. But when she realized the severity of the situation, Her dream wedding evaporating in legal chaos. Panic set in. Texts poured in from her. Frantic apologies. Frantic pleas. I didn't know. I thought Vanessa had cleared it. Please, Michael, don't ruin my life. I read them all in silence. Each one was a mirror of their own arrogance, their assumption that consequences only applied to others. Social media began to stir. Mutual friends and family picked up pieces of the story. Gossip threads ignited. Some questioned my actions. How could a husband sue his sister-in-law? But as the truth emerged, Vanessa's meticulous betrayal, draining the fund while I faced a serious medical procedure, sympathy shifted sharply. Comments poured in. She's lucky he's not pressing criminal charges. This is insane. What kind of family prioritizes a wedding over a spouse's life? Vanessa attempted damage control. Public posts, selective narratives, blaming me for being controlling and unreasonable. But I had the receipts. Every word she typed could be countered with proof. Her charm, so effective in private, faltered under scrutiny. Then came the confrontation. I insisted on meeting her and Claire together with our lawyers. We sat across a polished mahogany table in the firm's office. Vanessa's face was pale, tight-lipped, and full of defiance. Claire looked anxious, fidgeting with her wedding invitation mock-ups. Michael, you don't have to do this, Vanessa began, voice trembling slightly. We can fix it. Just, don't take this too far. I leaned forward, calm but icy. Fix it? Vanessa, you took my life savings while I was lying in a hospital bed, waiting for surgery. You didn't consult me. You didn't even hesitate. This isn't a mistake. This is theft. And I'm not negotiating morality with you. Claire's eyes widened and she stammered, I didn't know. I don't care what you didn't know, I said. Ignorance doesn't erase complicity. Your wedding, every deposit, every vendor booking is frozen. You will return the money. Vanessa, your marriage is over. And Claire, if you ever try to access these funds again, the court will see this through to the end. The tension in the room was palpable, a thick fog of humiliation and fear. Vanessa's jaw tightened, but she knew she was cornered. The veneer of sophistication cracked, revealing panic beneath. By midweek, the wedding was officially canceled. Vendors released from contracts. Invitations recalled. Flowers left to wilt. It was a public spectacle, though not my intention. But Vanessa's friends and family spread the news quickly. For the first time, I saw a flicker of accountability, though thin and fragile. Calls came in from friends, some offering support, some incredulous. Michael, are you serious? Asked one longtime friend. Divorce? Lawsuits? From a hospital bed? Yes, I said. I'm serious. I can't stay married to someone who chooses another person's fantasy over my life. The legal process moved fast thanks to my preparation. Emergency injunctions, restraining orders, frozen accounts. It all progressed in my favor. Vanessa tried one last gambit, a dramatic post on social media portraying herself as a victim of my cruelty. But my lawyer advised silence. Let the evidence speak, and it did. Screenshots, bank transfers, messages, they didn't lie. As the dust settled, the final confrontation arrived. Vanessa's calls came to an abrupt halt, replaced by her lawyer's voice. Claire, finally understanding the gravity, offered restitution in small increments. I agreed carefully, ensuring every transaction was documented. And then, a twist I hadn't anticipated. Mutual friends reached out, apologizing for doubting me, for siding with Vanessa before knowing the truth. They expressed shock, sympathy, even admiration for my restraint. It was surreal seeing the social tide turn so rapidly once the real story emerged. One afternoon, as I recovered from surgery, I received a final message from Vanessa. It was short, almost hollow. You win. The money is gone, the wedding is gone, and I guess we're done. I stared at it, my heart heavy but steady. No rage, no screaming, just a quiet satisfaction. Justice wasn't vengeance. It was the restoration of boundaries, the reclaiming of life I refused to let be stolen. 3 months later, the divorce was finalized. I moved into a smaller apartment, no frills, but mine. The hospital bills were paid, my health stabilized, and the money, what remained after restitution, was restored to my emergency fund. I had won more than a legal battle. I had reclaimed control over my life. Vanessa disappeared from my life completely, ghosted from every contact. Claire, humbled and remorseful, stayed in limited contact only to ensure restitution continued. Friends slowly returned, respecting the silence I maintained while I rebuilt. And then, one quiet evening, I sat alone in my apartment, reflecting. Betrayal had cut deep, sharper than any surgical incision. But survival had demanded clarity, strategy, and patience. I realized the lesson wasn't just about money, or weddings, or family loyalty. It was about knowing when to fight, when to plan, and when to act decisively. The wedding that should have been a celebration of love ended in a courtroom. The money that should have been our safety net almost destroyed me, but it didn't. And Vanessa? She had gambled everything for a fantasy. I survived, stronger, wiser, unbroken. As I closed my laptop and silenced my phone, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Peace. Not happiness, not joy, not relief. Peace. The kind of peace that comes from standing in your own truth, having faced betrayal head on, and walked away with your dignity intact. And that's how I survived the ultimate test of trust, love, and betrayal. The emergency fund wasn't just a stash of money. It was a symbol of foresight, preparation, and boundaries. And in the end, foresight won.